Merry Christmas, Dr. Joseph Martin. Well, it's day 4 in the countdown to Christmas and the Christ consciousness. And this is the 5th beatitude that we're looking at today. It's blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Now, in previous beatitudes, we've looked at blessed and what it means. It means somebody who's blessed because they're good or kind or deserving, and they're full of grace because grace is given to them. They're full of love because love has been given to them and they've felt love. And they're contented and peaceful because a peace has been given to them in their mind, their soul, and their heart, and their emotions, and their body. Now, merciful. Blessed are the merciful. Someone is merciful when they're forgiving, forbearing, lenient, kind, generous, magnanimous, um, always willing to listen, be empathetic, compassionate, respectful. There's so many things about being merciful. It's not necessarily something that we experience a lot in our life, being that or having that been felt towards us in terms of someone treating us mercifully. Um, Seemingly in this dark time that we're in, where there's so much going on, so much complexity and chaos. In many circumstances, people just want to take their pound of flesh and get what they can from someone else and react negatively or with a lot of hurt or send pain or suffering to others in response to feeling hurt and painful themselves. And of course, one of the best things you can do is to do some inner child work to heal yourself in order to find the path to becoming merciful yourself. What does it mean to receive mercy? It means to receive forgiveness, receive um, acceptance, receive um, getting off when you know that somebody could say something nasty or negative to you, or you perhaps deserve some kind of punishment for things you've said or done, or haven't said or haven't done, or activities or actions you've been involved in, and yet someone was merciful to you, and so you're receiving the mercy. Well, of all the things we could say about mercy and mercifulness, I think the keys are these. Forgiveness is number one. Forgiveness is the key to being merciful and also to receiving mercy. And there's no better book that I know of other than your own heart, the book of your own life and your own heart, for understanding forgiveness and how to be forgiven and how to receive forgiveness, is the book that's A Course in Miracles. The whole book and the training manual itself actually are the keys to how to learn to be forgiving and to receive forgiveness. And the whole key to love and being loved and loving someone, all people, is to learn the whole meaning of forgiveness. It's a skill, it's a training that can be taught. We can, each and every one of us, learn it. But it does mean that you want to feel some sense of morality, righteousness, and equality, and true divine human justice. There are many examples that we could look at around forgiveness and mercy. I think the best ones that we can talk about today, seeing as these are the Beatitudes of Jesus, the first Christ, would be to look at how Jesus was merciful in his own way in his life when he was here with us. There are many examples. I'm going to give you a few of them now. One of them was a time when a woman caught in adultery was brought before him by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, And they asked him what should be done with this woman. According to the old Mosaic law, she should be stoned to death. And Jesus obviously was caught. He wanted to fulfill a higher level of the law, but he also wanted to show mercy to all the people there, not just the woman. So he said, the first person without sin can cast the first stone. And one by one, they all left, and that was the end of it. And he said to the woman, go and sin no more. Everything has been forgiven of you, and just enjoy a peaceful, righteous life. Now, he did this numerous times with numerous women and men, and another famous time, of course, is when the woman Mary Magdalene came to him, and she also had been in that position in her life as the previous woman we just mentioned. And yet, Jesus, in his great love and forgiveness and compassion and empathy and understanding, I think a key to mercifulness is understanding. You understand where somebody's at and you know what they're going through, and you don't judge them. You can actually give them a higher path to their own betterment and their own life. So, as we all know, Mary Magdalene became one of his best disciples, certainly his primary female disciple, other than his mother Mary. And many went on to say at that time and later that Mary Magdalene, in fact, became his wife and the father of some of Jesus' children. All of this would come out in future historical records from this time forward. There are many other examples of when Jesus showed mercy to all the people around him, including the ones who were condemning him. However, I think the one that we can end on here on a good note to show how deeply you can forgive somebody because they have less understanding or little understanding of their own lives and actually their actions either. They don't know what they're saying, they don't know what they're doing, they're probably very unconscious, and they're coming out of a reactive, childish kind of state of fear and greed and empowerment over power over. So when Jesus was nailed to the cross and he was hanging there in great physical pain and torment, obviously, he was able to say just before he died, he gave up his spirit to the Father. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, if that isn't the greatest act of mercy and forgiveness for a man who's in extreme pain and knows he's about to die, what a positive way to leave his life. Of course, he was resurrected. But the power of the courage and the strength of forgiveness, there's nothing more powerful in the world, certainly in the human world, than the power of forgiveness, which is based on unconditional love, kindness, respect, and understanding. This is the key to this very most important beatitude. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain and receive mercy. When you can get to the point with your significant other or your ex or your parents or your siblings or your children or your friends and neighbors or your fellow workers or colleagues or business partners or clients, get to the point where you can forgive them, because we're all human, aren't we? We're imperfectly perfect. The perfect part is the divine soul and the wisdom of the source inside us. And the imperfect part is the human part here in the third dimension, in the physical body, in time and space and motion, that has all these opportunities to react negatively, and then we feel guilt and shame and embarrassment. And that's the moral compass to show us the way to act in a forgiving and merciful way. When we forgive ourselves, and remember, forgiveness is forgiving to yourself first. You need to forgive yourself for all the things you've said or done or acted upon or not said or not done or thought even that have hurt yourself and hurt other people. You first must forgive yourself. And when you've done that, you are very easily able to forgive all those around you that you've hurt. You must go out and ask for forgiveness from yourself first, of course, in your own inner meditations and reflections, and then you can go out and ask for forgiveness from somebody else. No relationship will clear up until you go and ask for forgiveness. And if you don't ask for forgiveness, you know that you'll have to come back in the next life. Because this is all a great law of karma. What you give or put out will always return to you. If you put out hatred, it will return to you. And if you put out mercifulness, kindness, and love, it will always return to you. This is not only a cosmic spiritual law, it's a law in thermodynamics, in physics. It's a law for all things structured and functioning in this universe, certainly in the human sphere. So you will want to be able to learn the law of forgiveness, the law of mercy and kindness, so that forgiving yourself, you will forgive all others. And make a note of all the people you need to ask forgiveness from. I know in all the 12-step groups, people used to and still do, it's very essential, important to make a list of all the people you need to ask forgiveness from and go out and do this process, enact it. And that's the only true way to be happy and joyful and free of guilt and free of the weight that does play on people's minds. Remember, when you are merciful, mercy will be given to you, not just by the divine in your own inner soul, but people around you will be treating you more mercifully and kindly and respectfully as well. And that's all we all want, isn't it? We all just want to be happy. Well, for now, moving forward towards Christmas, you might want to do some of this over the holiday because we're always with our family and friends at Christmas, and it can usually be a very strange and challenging time of all kinds of, hidden and previous historical backgrounds of reactions or, not connecting or communicating openly and honestly. And this is your opportunity now. Seize the day, seize the opportunity to make notes of who needs to be forgiven and who you can forgive, and just in a very kind, gentle, respectful way, and maybe even obviously a very sincere way, move through this. Do this for yourself now. It's the most important thing. Everything in your life will change. Your future will be completely different. In a month and a year from now, those people will be once again your best, kind, loving friends, especially you with yourself, and also with the divinity within, the Christ consciousness of all that is. All love and blessings. Enjoy this experience sincerely and have some joy and fun in it all too, because there's no judgment in this. You can do this and realize it's a great learning experience like everything in life. All love and blessings. See you again soon.